Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello, Chef Rike. Hello, Hiram. Ladies and gents, NXT is over, and NXT is known for giving us the unexpected. And today was that day. It was awesome. NXT was a great show. If you missed it, highly recommend you watch it back on Hulu before you listen to this live. If you're listening to this in the playback, can I have my glasses, please, AJ? So let me get into everybody who's here. Marlon's here, Jay's here, Trevon's here. Okay, period is here. I don't know who that is. All right. Um. Um. Okay. So y'all ain't gonna let me run the show. Y'all gonna run the show for me. So let's get down to brass tactics and see what happened on NXT today. So NXT had its first match of the night. It was Ember Moon versus Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai ended up picking up the win over Ember. If you don't know, Shotzi and Tegan Nox were both pulled from NXT and brought to the main roster, which I actually like. I have no problem with that. I felt like Ember and Shotzi weren't going to go any further. They had already been tag team champions. And really, there was no reason for Tegan to stay in NXT. You could have went on ahead with Tegan, finished out the storyline with Candice, but it just seemed like it was a long time ago. A lot of people didn't remember the reason why Tegan was kayfabed out. And honestly, it wouldn't have done Tegan any good, nor Candice, in my opinion. They both have outgrown each other, and it was time for Tegan to move on. So Tegan was pushed to the main roster and tagged with Shotzi. They had their debut on SmackDown last week. So now you have Ember by her lonesome once again, and it was Dakota Kai versus Ember. It was a decent match between the two women. Dakota ended up getting the win. And of course, her best friend and lookout and bodyguard, Raquel, was right there by her side, cheering and helping her on. And as the lights went dim and Xia Li walked out, all I could think of was, I told you so. I told you that she was going to be the next person to challenge Raquel for her title. She was the next logical person to challenge Raquel for her title. I told you so. Feels good to be right. So, anyways, let me put this comment up. Wow. Anyways, so Xia Li made it very clear that Dakota is of no consequence to her, and she is only concerned with Raquel. She blew right past Dakota and said, Raquel, I want you. And Raquel was like, you got it. So there's going to be a rivalry between these two women, and I'm sure T and Sha will be somewhere in the background looming, waiting, and just biding their chances to start some bullshit with Raquel and Dakota. I think this is a great idea. Finally give Raquel something to do besides showing her back with the damn title on it. And it'll finally, start some little, tidbits about Dakota. Dakota seemed very irritated that Xia Li just blew past her. But the reality is Dakota is not the champion, and she isn't the one that you have to go through to get that title. The only person that you have to go through to get that title is Raquel. And Dakota seems to have delusions of grandeur. So I think Xia Li is going to be the catalyst to them breaking up and how it all begins to start to unravel between the two of them. Now, another interesting thing happened today. Sarai had a match against Gigi Dolan today. Gigi Dolan made her debut on the NXT roster today, technically. And she did great. there was some pieces of the match that were telegraphed, and you can see some things. But I think the longer that they're in the ring and wrestling with each other, the better they will get. And for me, the match was decent. Here's where things get a little bit tricky for me. As Gigi Dolan and Sarray were wrestling, Mandy Rose was out there standing at the top of the key watching the match. I didn't understand what this means. And everybody's like, well, maybe it's a wild card thing, or Mandy and Dana have broken up. But I've come to realize that with NXT, everything is about strategic placement and strategy, and it is always something means something. It's not always a one-off thing. So with this, I'm not right off sure what this is. Some people that I have talked to said that it could be Mandy's breaking up. They're breaking up the Power Blondes, as they like to call them. I don't know about that. There aren't many tag teams on the main roster as it is. Those titles have to be defended somewhere. And quite honestly, they need Mandy and Dana to stay a team. Some people think that Dana's going to be released. That's why they split them up. But the segment that they had Monday with Dana, with Tamina and Natalya, it just doesn't make sense. Even if they were splitting them up, it would have looked better for them to be fighting each other rather than to have them be on the same team fighting, still arguing and bickering with Tamina and Natalya. So I think this might be, I don't know, maybe Mandy was scouting. I don't know. But I kind of like the fact that I don't know exactly what this means. And I kind of enjoy the fact that this is something new and it's something fresh, and it still has talent that we have seen and know before, but there's something new brewing under the surface, and that's the cool part. Okay, so hello Morovich. Okay, what's the question? So let's get into the NXT Breakout Tournament. This was the first round. You had, I can't say this name right, I'm going to call him Jiro, and you had Duke Hudson. Duke Hudson is very much like Wade Barrett, but he's even more arrogant than Wade Barrett was. Jiro is a great wrestler. I mean, he's good at what he does. High flying, funny, fun in the ring, but that jacket is irritating as hell. I don't know how he wrestles in this jacket, but kudos to you. You ain't get long chin, bro. But anyway, ultimately, it was a decent match between these two men. It was back and forth. You didn't really know who was going to win until Duke Hudson was able to pick up the W over Jiro. This is a one-and-done tournament, so once you lose, you're out. Duke Hudson advances, and next week there's going to be a new breakout tournament match. So we can't wait to see how this is going to play out. Everybody that's in the tournament is all here. We only got 2 black guys in this tournament, 1 Japanese guy, and the rest of them are good old white guys. So we're just going to wait and see how this all plays out. You got Carmelo Hayes here. I can't think of the other guy's name. I think his name is what, Tyler or something like that? I can't think of the other guy's name. But you got some pretty heavy hitters, Jiro, Duke Hudson, and this real big behemoth of a man, this big old black dude right here. I'm very curious as to what he's going to do. Now today, y'all know Aaliyah was born in NXT. Okay. Hold on a second. I don't think Dana would get released, but I'm guessing they're changing things up. Some people are saying Aaliyah breaking up means she might get called up. I don't know. Rooting for Carmelo. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Turn off these damn notifications. That's so annoying. Anyways. So, what was the Mandy Rose doing at NXT tonight? Don't know. If you want to hear my thoughts on Mandy Rose being there, then you definitely need to watch it in the playback because I can't give you anything other than that. Too far. Frankie running the Robert Stone brand. I'm down for it. Okay. Now that Mandy's in NXT, does this mean Trisha Paytas is getting released? I don't think so. I don't understand why people automatically equate somebody breaking up a tag team or whatever the case may be, because you don't really know what's happening. I don't understand how Mandy and Dana possibly breaking up, because that is a possibility, to Dana being released. If Dana gets released, they could have released Dana a while ago. They didn't have to wait until Mandy shows up on NXT and then say, oh, time to release her. Like, to me, that's unnecessary. You could have just released the girl. You released Ruby Rose in the middle of a tag team with Liv Morgan. But you keep Dana and Mandy together. Okay. I mean, if that's how you correlate it, then whatever the case may be, I don't see it that way. If they do end up releasing her, then I hope, Dana, she'll find somewhere else to go, and I'm sure she'll be able to command top dollar for whatever she wants to do. But I'm not going to go straight to, oh, she's going to be released. I'm not going to do that. Anyways, so Robert Stone brand is over, it looks like. It looks like that shit is dead, done, finito. At least it appears that way. Tonight, Jessie and Aaliyah had a match with Casey and Kaden. It was a good match for Casey and Kaden. Me specifically, I don't really care for Aaliyah, and I don't really like Jessie like that, so I didn't care for the match. I fast forwarded to the end. Robert tried to help, but it ultimately ended up costing them the match. And Aaliyah got frustrated and angry and beat the hell out of Robert. And Jessie, and then she just left. She was gone. Then Jessie walked away when Frankie came out, which Frankie had on a very cute outfit today. Man was real cute. Okay. So Frankie came out and asked Jessie to come back there with her. And then they walked away while Robert was still trying to recover and get his shoe back. Now, a lot of people think that this means that Aaliyah somehow is being brought up to the main roster. I don't think that's the case either. If they were going to bring Aaliyah up, they very well could have done it around the same time that they brought up Shotzi and Tegan. They could have easily brought Aaliyah to Raw this past Monday instead of waiting until she's done with this situation, because it looked like Tegan and Candice were getting ready to revive their feud, and it wasn't the case. So I don't think she's going anywhere. I think they're going to create a faction with Frankie Monet, Jessie, and Aaliyah. I think they've been alluding to that for quite some time, and now that Robert Stone is out of the way for Jessie and Aaliyah, it's an easy sell to get them on Frankie Monet's side. And this could in turn start the rise and the ascension of Frankie Monet and, of course, Jessie and Aaliyah. But Robert Stone, I liked Robert Stone. I thought he was great. I think that he would work well on the main roster as a manager. I think he would be great for certain people who really, really need personality, somebody who needs someone to help them shine a bit more, stand out. Like, Robert would be a great piece on the main roster, on the flagship. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do. Let me put some of y'all comments up. Cross just got a death wish. I'm getting to Cross. I'm getting there. There was a lot that happened on the show. I'm getting to Cross. So me and my mom got into this argument with this neighbor because we caught her daughter throwing a baby kitten, because where we stay, it's a lot of cats. We told her to leave the cats alone. Okay, Brandy. That doesn't sound like a question. It sounds like more like a statement. Not quite sure what you were asking me. Willow Hayes, Trey Baxter, Duke Hudson, Joe Gacy, Odyssey Jones, Jiro, Andre Chase, and Josh Bridges are the name of the breakout stars in the NXT tournament. Okay. Then she went to go tell her mom. Then she came outside and we came outside and started arguing. And she was being hella rude. I don't even think about Dana being released. That wasn't even crossing my mind. I was thinking about Frankie being a better fit. Even if Robert Stone makes me roll on the floor laughing. Calling my mom her name and was trying to tell her what happened. She wasn't trying to listen. And she basically told us she could do whatever she wants to do with the cat, including killing it. Okay. I don't. So what was the question you're trying to ask me exactly? I'm here for Cross versus Joe. I'm getting the Cross in a second. Frankie and Manny ran into each other backstage. Can she be joining the Robert Stone brand? I don't know. I didn't get to see that. I've been talking to y'all, so I don't know. I was basically asking what are something I can do to get over the situation. Let it go. There isn't anything you can do other than call animal control. If somebody's abusing animals and you see them doing it, I would never engage the person. You should have just called animal control, gave them the address, the name of the people, and then let them handle it from then on out. Because there's no reason for you to get involved with something like that. And then just let it go. Maybe Robert can be with Mandy. Maybe he can. I mean, Dana need his help too, if you really want to know the truth. I honestly don't think that they broke up. But if they did, whatever. All right. So let's get back to NXT. Let's talk about the last couple of minutes of the show. Now, throughout the show, you got some snippets of Cameron Grimes and LA Knight. With Cameron being LA Knight's butler. I have to say, this is by far the funniest thing I've seen in wrestling in quite some time. Cameron Grimes is hilarious. LA Knight rises to the occasion and he's funny. It's just funny. And if it ever came back to them wrestling again, they actually can wrestle and get the job done. They're very much a well-rounded character, both of them. They are both just strong characters that are funny. They stand out. They have charisma. They have swag. And on top of that, they're excellent wrestlers. So this by far is the best thing for me in NXT. Now, there was some things that happened that I don't really have pictures of at the moment. Legado del Fantasma made it very clear that, they were moving on from Bronson Reed since he has nothing that they want anymore. And they were going to set their sights squarely on Swerve and Hit Row. But they had to topple a couple people first. So there was a match with Santos Escobar. And who was he going up against? Do you remember? He had a match with Dexter Lumis today. Dexter was out there, and Dexter hasn't wrestled on television in quite some time. So him and Dexter had a match, and it was okay. Towards the end of the match, Escobar won. He leaves, and Hit Row comes out, and they make it very clear that they heard everything that Santos Escobar, Joaquin, and I think his name was Raul said. They heard everything they said, and they ain't with that shit. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I will say is, Miss B-Fab, I don't know exactly what's going on with you and your clothes. Like, I like the fact that you wear your merch because you're promoting it. Fine. But you wear pretty much the same style every time you come out there. You got on your shorts. They either coochie booty cutters or they're just really short shorts. Fine, don't have a problem with that. But then, like, today they had like cheetah print on. I'm trying to be nice. Today they had cheetah print on them. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked down and you had socks on with your chunky heel boots. And I was just like, you just I'm just gonna say it, ma'am, you just tacky. Like you are tacky. And I hate to say this because you got hella skill when it comes to your rapping. I don't know about that cipher, but you got skill when it comes to your rapping. You feel me? But your style is whack. It's whack, my G, and it could be so much better. And you don't even have to do that much, and you don't have to spend that much to just show up and show out. You know what I'm saying? You're not wrestling right now. It appears that that's not the case for you at the moment. So at best, you could at least put your best foot forward. I mean, you already got the mic you command. You just got to come out there and sell it for the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not hitting. I mean, from those loud ass pink go-go boots the last time to those uber white go-go boots you had on to the red ones, it was just like, bitch, you got them in every color. And they not cute. None of them. I can't. Brianna, I need you to get it together because I'm really trying to root for you, but you make it real difficult. You do, sis. Anyway, Indy came out there to rescue Dexter Lumis and get him together. And Dexter, she tried to carry him and dropped him and was getting ready to kiss the man. And here come cock blocking Candice LeRae. Just took Indy square out like she was on. They was out there on the gridiron, and she had to go and make sure she got this damn red zone tackle. Like she was in it to win it. Pulled Indy away and told Indy, no, you can't be with him. At this point, I'm gonna need for them to shit and get off the pot when it comes to Indy and Dexter Lumis. They gotta do something. This whole alluding to them being together and all this crap is just that. It's crap. Do something else. Candice is getting in your way, and Candice has made it so y'all damn near wasn't gonna be together. So Indy, do something. You know what I'm saying? Then you got your man, Candice, however small he may be, however tiny he may be, and how much he fit in your back pocket. Indy just trying to get her a meal. You got your snack. She want her meal. So you need to stop, blocking her blessings. Okay? You need to stop doing that. Because you're not a true friend. All right? That's messy as hell. Now, let's move on to the final match of the night. If I'm forgetting something, I'm pretty sure y'all will let me know in the comments, okay? I think NXT TakeOver will be going back to arenas, I think next month, but I'm not fully sure. I know this is out of nowhere, but I have to say it before I forget. You could just wait. Why do y'all keep saying that? Wow. Anyway, Raquel for Xia versus Xia for the championship is next week. Okay. Now, everybody was 100% sure that Karrion Kross was going to drop this title to Johnny Gargano tonight. And Samoa Joe was the special guest referee. The match itself was going back and forth. And it was very clear that they were trying to make it look like one of them could be walking out as champion, whether it be the current champion or a former champion. I'll get to Adam Cole in a second. Now, Karrion and Johnny have their match, and Karrion is able to beat Johnny Gargano and win. Now, throughout this match, Karrion was going overboard in the match, and Joe had to make him pull back. But the way Joe did it was very much in an attacking manner. So Karrion was getting more and more frustrated. He knew with Joe being an official, putting his hands on an official would cost him the match, but he would still regain the title. But I don't think Karrion wanted to win that way. So when Karrion actually got the chance to put his hands on Samoa Joe, he did. He used the fact that Scarlett stepped in front of him and blocked Joe from doing anything, or rather blocked him from doing anything. And when Joe turned around to leave, he choked Samoa Joe out. Now, it's very rare that you see Samoa Joe laid out on anybody's mat, choked out. So this is going to have severe repercussions next week. I imagine within the next couple of weeks, Samoa Joe will be cleared to wrestle, and this ban of him wrestling is going to be lifted. With him having many adversaries like Karrion Kross and Adam Cole and Pete Dunne walking around, I can't help but think that these are three potential matches that are going to happen at some point in NXT. Now, do I think it's going to happen anytime soon? More than likely, Karrion Kross will probably be in a match with Joe first, or they'll go with Adam Cole after he's done with Kyle O'Reilly. But I would probably start off with Kross. Let it be Kross, go for Joe, then move on to Cole, and then move into Pete Dunne if you're going to do it that way. But it's an interesting story, and the entire show was very interesting. It was quite enlightening, if I do say so myself. Now, let's move back a little bit, because I forgot about Adam Cole. Adam Cole came out and cut a promo on Kyle O'Reilly, who had a little mini interview with Wade Barrett. He basically told Wade Barrett that you win some, you lose some. And he says that he has to get his killer instinct back. And he says that he does want a rematch with Adam Cole for that opportunity to regain his killer instinct. Adam Cole came out to respond, and basically he says, I don't need a rematch with you. And that's not something that you want from me, because I'm going to beat you again. He made it very clear that he's the top dog and he's the number one guy. Despite him not having the gold, he's still the guy to beat, which Adam Cole has proven that time and time again. And that is not arguable or up for debate. That is factual. Now, he said there's no guy in the back that can compete with him or wants to compete with him. And he also called out Samoa Joe and calling him a coward from attacking him from behind and allowing Kyle O'Reilly to put him in a submission the week before the Great American Bash. Now, when he said there was no one in the back who can contend with him or wanted to contend with him, Bronson Reed's music hit. And he came out and basically said that, yes, he lost the North American title and he had nothing to lose. And the only thing that he sees right now is a golden opportunity via the Golden Boy of NXT. So probably, which has probably been announced, next week, more than likely, it will be Bronson Reed versus Adam Cole, which I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. But as I said before, there's a lot of shakeups going on in NXT. Gigi Dolan debuted. They're starting with the breakout tournament. New people are coming in. Factions are being formed. And we also had a match with Tyler Rust and Bobby Fish today. Since I don't care about either of those dudes, I don't really care for Tyler Rust. I don't like the way he wrestles. I'm not interested in him. Diamond Mine pretty much took out Bobby Fish today. So that was that, you know. And that was NXT. That was the gist of what happened. A very solid show, fun. It had some nice little surprises, some little sneaks, and some interesting pieces that you really can't put together or change. So it's very interesting what's going to happen with NXT and what could possibly carry over into the flagship shows of Raw and SmackDown. So I'm very interested in seeing what's going on with wrestling in WWE. Joe was more than provoked. Kross about to get his ass beat. Kross just got a death wish. Yes, you've said that many times, Kevin. I think you got it the first time. You see the new page, child. I'm never gonna post on here, but a bitch is here. Wow. Congratulations to you, body bitch. I'm glad you're on the YouTube streets. I wonder what's next for Gargano. He's done everything he can do. He can get called up, but I know he doesn't want to. He says he's NXT for life, so I highly doubt that he'll be called up. Is Joe cleared to wrestle? I'm not sure. As far as I know, Samoa Joe was released due to the fact that he was still under the concussion protocol. I also know that they wanted to shift the commentary a bit, and Joe, because they had to change, they decided to move Joe from commentary. He wasn't going to be able to get back into wrestling on the main roster at the time, so they let him go. When Triple H found that out, he did everything in his power to get Joe back because he knew Joe going to AEW or anywhere else was going to be a major mistake for WWE. So he brought him back to NXT. I suspect that very soon he will be wrestling, and I think that he probably is cleared because he was able to take this bump from Carrion today. He probably is cleared to wrestle. They're just biding their time to allow him back into the ring to wrestle. All those matches will be fire in theory, Dunn, Cross, and Cole. Exactly. I think every one of them, especially with Joe being involved, is going to be great. You know, we don't know yet. Let's just be patient. I'm actually very interested to see what this means. My mind never took me to somebody was getting fired and people are getting broken up. My mind never went there. I was trying to understand what Mandy was doing there and what this meant. She came out during Gigi and Saray's match. So she was either scouting Gigi or she was looking at what Saray was doing. Either way, when it comes to Saray, Mandy more than likely will get washed. I don't care if they structure it for Mandy to win that match. Saray is out of Mandy's league when it comes to wrestling. As far as Gigi is concerned, Gigi's a better wrestler than she is as well. So I don't know. I really want to see what this means and what they're doing, because it just seems like they abruptly stopped whatever they were doing with Mandy and Dana, Tamina and Natalya, and just was like, okay, we're going to roll with this. But we're not sure. There's no confirmation of what's really happening. All we know is that Mandy popped up at the CWC and was standing there watching a match. We don't know what this means for Dana and her or anything. And me, by myself, personally, I don't want to suspect anybody getting fired. That's just me. The women's division has been cut, spliced, and dwindled enough. I think the best thing for us to do is hope that this is going to lead to a better storyline for her and anybody else who is involved. And whether it's happening on NXT or on the main roster, I think it's best that we just suspect that it's going to be a storyline of some kind. She commented on WWE post saying power equals ratings. Okay. That doesn't mean anything to me. Now, if she's going to be back in NXT, cool, whatever works for her. Personally, she could have went back to NXT, but maybe they're just not letting her go back. I don't know. But to me, that doesn't mean anything. That just means she popped up and everybody's wondering why she's there. So it's interesting. We're just going to have to wait and see what's going to happen next. Now, yesterday I did go over the Money in the Bank matches and what's going to happen at Money in the Bank. So I'm going to tell you guys again, these are the participants for the men's Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura, Big E, John Morrison, Ricochet, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens. My picks for the men's Money in the Bank are Kevin Owens, Ricochet, And I know y'all hate it, but I'm going to say Drew McIntyre is a sleeper for me. So those are my 3 picks out of the 8 that could possibly win Money in the Bank. I just don't see Shinsuke winning it. I possibly could see Ricochet getting it. But my 2 main picks are going to be Kevin Owens. I'm going to say Kevin Owens and Ricochet. Those are my 2 main picks, and I'll stick with them. Let's move on to the women's match. For the women, there's still one more participant. Rumor has it that it's going to be Sonya Deville, who enters into the women's Money in the Bank. My picks for the women's Money in the Bank would be Sonya, Naomi, or Liv Morgan. Those are one of the 3 that I think are going to win the Money in the Bank. The only sleeper I would say would have to be Zelina Vega, because she was added immediately to Money in the Bank, despite, and even though she was on the main roster and she was in, she was just put in the match. And I get it. It's SmackDown. There's not a lot going on SmackDown. I still think that Zelina Vega might get the briefcase. And if she does, then you're going to have a villainess with the briefcase. And it could be very interesting to see what Zelina Vega does with it. Aaliyah says that Drew is my sleeper too, since they took out Cesaro. She's a mess. Mine is Naomi. I'm so excited fans are back. My picks for Money in the Bank are Seth or Riddle for the men. For the women, Sonya or Naomi or Liv. I honestly don't care for Liv to win, but it looks like she could. I don't think Matt Riddle's going to win Money in the Bank. But, what else? So you've got the men's WWE Championship. Bobby Lashley is the current champion, and he is defending his title against Kofi Kingston. Now, Kofi and Bobby have had a good, decent rivalry back and forth for the last couple of weeks, and Bobby has made it very clear that this Sunday at Money in the Bank, he is going to demolish Kofi and make him wish he never challenged the almighty Bobby Lashley. He even went so far as to insult MVP and take him down as well for trying to bring, wine and dine him with champagne and women. And he said we need to get back to basics and do what I do best, which is conquer and destroy. Sounds very, very familiar. But I'm going to keep my mouth shut, and we're going to move on to the next men's match of the night, which is probably one of the best and underrated rivalries that have happened in WWE as of lately. You have your tribal chief, Nino Brown, a.k.a. Roman Reigns, up against the rated R superstar and ultimate opportunist, Edge. Edge has been quite unhinged for the last month, attacking Roman, both of his cousins, and proving that he is in it to win it, and he will never stop until he gets his hands on that Universal Championship. But I suspect that there's a monkey wrench in the plan, and this is not going to play out according to how Edge thinks it will. SummerSlam is looming around the corner, and I suspect that Seth Rollins is going to have a hand in costing Edge this match, which will lead to Edge and Seth Rollins battling it out for personal reasons at SummerSlam, which I'm all for. And I'm pretty sure Seth Rollins, outside of kayfabe, is like, this is going to be the greatest. Because if you recall, quite some time ago, when John Cena was running around in WWE and Seth Rollins was still the man, Seth Rollins was still the guy with J&J Security. He used the fact that Edge had a neck injury to take out John Cena and force him to allow the Authority to come back. Now, if you don't know that storyline, John Cena won a match at a pay-per-view, which dismantled the Authority. They were no longer in charge, which didn't give Seth Rollins any more power. Well, Seth Rollins found a way to get his power back, and he used the fact that Edge was injured to do it. And he basically had his neck on the mat, put his foot on it, and was going to concerto him, or better yet, was it curb stomp him? One of the two, until John Cena gave up the goods. and John Cena had to ultimately bring back the Authority, and that's when we saw Stephanie and Triple H return, and the whole thing with the Authority started all over again. So they've got old beef, and they may even have new beef. So we'll have to wait and see. But if my theory is correct, then that is the way that Money in the Bank will play out for Roman Reigns. And it will lead to Roman going up against this man. Now, I didn't get the chance to make my video for this week, but I wanted to make sure everybody understood what's going to happen in the next coming weeks when it comes to Money in the Bank and moving into SummerSlam. Can you give him his nighttime medicine and put him in the shower, please? All right, so here we go. First, let me take a quick break, and I'll be right back.
I just wanna go where you go tonight. Baby, hold my hand, take me one more time. I don't wanna be without you again. I want you to stay, 'cause it feels so great. Bye, see you good, come back, need it. I think about you, what can I do? I wanna know if you think of me too. Baby, come over, let me kiss you. I just wanna go where you go tonight. Baby, hold my hand, take me one more time. I don't wanna be without you again. I want you to stay, 'cause it feels so great. Bye, see you good, come back, need it. I think about you, what can I do? I wanna know if you think of me too. Baby, come over, let me kiss you. I just wanna go where you go tonight. Baby, hold my hand, take me one more time. I don't wanna be without you again. I want you to stay, 'cause it feels so great. Bye, see you good, come back, need it. I think about you, what can I do? I wanna know if you think of me too. Baby, come over, let me kiss you. How
All right. Hope y'all can hear me. 1 second, y'all.
I just wanna go where you go tonight. Baby, hold my hand, take me one more time. I don't wanna be without you again. I want you to stay, 'cause it feels so great. Bye, see you better come back. I think about you, what can I do? I wanna know if you think of me too. Baby, come over, let me kiss you. How long is you? How long is you? Baby, tell me. Baby, tell me. How long is you? How long is you? Baby, tell me. Baby, tell me. I just wanna go where you go tonight.
All right, so let's get back to business, okay? Like I was mentioning before, that Roman Reigns is going to need a new opponent after this ends with Edge. And that opponent is going to be John Cena, okay? Now, a lot of people think that John Cena won't be able to show up because he is scheduled to make a movie very soon. Again, he's going to be filming. You know, a lot of movie lots are behind due to the fact that COVID hit and a lot of them were shut down. But John Cena is not going to be filming a movie. From my understanding, he is going to be free and available to make it to SummerSlam. In fact, John Cena more than likely will show up on SmackDown within the next 2 weeks. That is the rumor, okay? So just keep that in the back of your mind. He's supposed to show up either at the end of this week or he's supposed to show up next week, after Money in the Bank or before. My mind is leaning more to after Money in the Bank. That would be a better impact. It'd be bigger, it'd be larger, and it won't overshadow Edge and what's going on with him. So I would lean more towards next week. Okay? Now, here is another little tidbit that I want you guys to know that I didn't necessarily get to make my little video on. WWE has all new sets for both flagship shows, SmackDown and Raw. These sets are augmented reality sets. Now, some of y'all might not know what that means, baby. So I wanted to make sure I had the definition and I could tell y'all what it means, okay? So augmented reality is also known as AR, is an enhanced version of real physical world that is achieved through the use of digital visual elements, sound, and other sensory stimuli. Delivered via technology, it is a growing trend among companies involved in mobile computing and business applications in particular. So if you've ever been on Facebook, you would have seen augmented reality technology on Facebook. If you've ever downloaded Pokemon Go and played Pokemon Go, you would have used augmented reality for that as well. So it's there if you want to see what it could do or what it's capable of. There are some ways for you to see it, but WWE is supposedly implementing this technology into their shows. I'm not quite sure as to how it's going to work out, but they are supposed to be implementing this into their shows. So that's a little interesting tidbit of behind the scenes of WWE and what they're trying to do and where they're headed. But Mr. You Can't See Me is supposed to be coming back. And it's going to be an interesting time for Roman Reigns and for John Cena. So we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out. But let's get back to Money in the Bank, okay? So there is another match on the card for Money in the Bank. The tag team titles on Raw are on the line, with AJ Styles and Omos defending them against Ivar and Eric. Me personally, I would rather Ivar and Eric be a 3-time tag team champion than to let Omos and AJ Styles keep it. Omos is a terrible wrestler. He's horrible. And he works for AJ Styles in terms of being his bodyguard, but wrestling isn't his thing. And I don't think he should be a wrestler at all. And quite frankly, I'm not a fan of him. I think he should have been cut with the rest of them. And I hate to say that because that's people's livelihood. But the reality is, he's not light on his feet. He's not easy on his feet. He's awkward in the ring. And it's a weird thing to watch him wrestle. Is the best thing I can say. I'm going to put my money on Ivar and Eric to be the next tag team champions on Raw. Now, the Blue Brand is not putting their titles on the line. And if I recall, the women's titles aren't on the line either. That may be subject to change. WWE has been known to add a match or take away a match right before the show. Case in point, when Bayley went down at the mandatory practice, they took away Bianca's opportunity to compete at Money in the Bank and put her on Friday Night SmackDown to compete against Carmella. Now, the final match of the night, or the final match I'm going to mention for Money in the Bank, is Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Now, yesterday we talked about this, and a lot of you, including Tirza and Marlon and everybody, they're not too keen on Charlotte getting the title back. They really want Rhea to keep it, and they want Rhea to move forward into a new feud with someone else. Having Rhea Ripley keep the title leads to you having a possible feud with Nia Jax, possible feud with Shayna, and a possible feud with any one of these women who are in the Money in the Bank on the Raw side. So you could have a possible feud with Naomi. I wouldn't double back to Asuka because I think that should be a dead issue. But you could also have a possible feud with Bliss. It would lend to what happened in Royal Rumble with her eliminating her, and they can build off of that and make it a storyline. You could have the Nightmare against the Little Princess of Darkness, and it would be an interesting thing to see how she would navigate with Bliss and her quote-unquote powers, and how the Nightmare would be able to compete against her and her little friend Lily. So it's an interesting time for the women. And of course, Charlotte Flair has been at her best. Charlotte is out here doing her best to put Rhea Ripley over. It may not look like it is putting her over, but I think Charlotte working with Rhea has really helped shape Rhea in terms of her getting acclimated to the main roster and understanding how it works on the main roster, and really leaning into that character development and that fight between the two of them. A lot of people don't like it, but I think given some time, when people go back and watch this feud between Rhea and Charlotte actually build up over time, you'll begin to appreciate what they were able to do with each other and where it was able to go. The same thing I say for Roman and Edge. I don't think he's getting the proper respect he deserves either for the feud that they're building between Edge and Roman. It just isn't getting what it deserves. And I think that both of them deserve more than what they're getting. They're getting a lot of pushback, a lot of, I don't want to see this. And honestly, if Charlotte doesn't win, I'm fine with it. And if she does get the title, I wouldn't necessarily be mad about it either. They did say on the dirt sheets, and of course into some more reliable sources, that there are going to be some surprises within the next couple of weeks. One of them is going to be at Money in the Bank. The other one is going to be at the next SmackDown, which is going to be the Rolling Loud SmackDown. That's going to be here in my backyard, in my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. They're splitting the show. So they're going to have two matches, and I think an appearance at Rolling Loud, and they're going to have matches here. And those matches at Rolling Loud, you're going to be seeing on the screen here in Cleveland, and they're going to perform down there in Miami. So it's going to be an interesting time to see what they're going to do and what they're going to bring to the table. One can only hope that this is all worth it in the end. All the drama, all the intrigue, all the madness. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. So let me get some more of these comments again. I'm going to need John to read Roman again. I don't know. Roman's pretty much stepped his game up, like y'all always say. Y'all real good for saying you need to step your pussy up, ho. So, I mean, Roman has done that. So, You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That might be a good back and forth between Roman and John that I really do want to see. I like Rhea and Charlotte together. They're like siblings fighting over the same toy, but more edgy. That's a good way to explain it. That's a good way to explain it. I actually like that a lot. I dig that. Good job, Aaliyah. That was awesome. That was a good way to put it. They are like siblings fighting over the same toy. It's very much that way, which I kind of dig. I like that. Tirza says, I don't know who the fuck doesn't want, who the fuck is saying they don't want to see Edge versus Roman, because that's a marquee blockbuster match, if you ask me. I 100% agree. Edge is one of the greatest storytellers to ever live when it comes to WWE. He gives every single story, every single match his all, and I feel as though Edge and Roman is that story is building, and it just is great. He's the best adversary he's had since Kevin Owens, and he just rises to the occasion every single time. And if you ask me, Roman going up against Edge only betters Roman. Okay? Edge doesn't need any improvement. And neither does Roman either, but iron sharpens iron. Okay? So I love it. And I really, really, really think that this was a very good choice for them to double back to Edge. There wasn't anybody else for Roman to go up against. He's blown through the entire roster with the exception of Big E and Seth Rollins. And right now, they don't want to visit Seth Rollins yet. They're trying to give Seth Rollins a way to kind of push, kind of slowly turn him to an anti-hero without him being a complete face, right? So that takes time to do. I personally can't wait for this match to go. I just can't wait. Are you doing commentary for Money in the Bank, please? I usually don't do commentary for the pay-per-views because WWE flags it very heavily. All I can say is I can try. I may go live for Money in the Bank on here, and I won't be able to show you guys anything. I'll be able to react and everything like that, but I won't be able to show you guys anything. I'll think about it. That's a lot of work. I'll think about it. The SD I'm going to in September is being marketed as a super show. Both Raw and SmackDown will be there. Oh, clever. Well, they are traveling together. The shows are traveling together. And what I'm finding is that what they're doing is if one show is in one city, this show is the next show for like Raw or Raw or SmackDown, whichever one is wherever it is. Like they'll have a show in another neighboring city, or it'll be in that same city. So they're not spreading them out like they used to. So the shows are traveling together. So that makes sense. That's kind of cool, actually. Anthony Rose says, hey, hello, Anthony. What is your opinion on people saying Carmella doesn't deserve to fight Bianca? Instead, it should be Sasha or Liv. At some point, and this is a argument that a lot of people make. Here's the thing. You can't keep asking for people to get opportunities and to get mad when they get them. Carmella isn't exactly like a top tier talent, but she is a former champion, and you have to give her that. Carmella is a decent character. However, I prefer her Mella is Money character over this sex symbol thing she's trying to do. To me, it doesn't work. It doesn't, compute, and I don't like it. It's tacky. It doesn't really work for her, and I really wish they would have left her as the heel version of Mella is Money and let her run with that, because that was a better character through and through. Okay. Carmella going up against Bianca is fine. She's a former champion. She's been on the roster for quite some time. I don't have a problem with it. In fact, I was dead sure that they were done with Bayley and Bianca at Hell in a Cell, and that they were going to move into Bianca going up against Carmella. And I thought that was the perfect time for Bianca to have a break in between her and Sasha and go into Carmella, pick up a win with Carmella, get her feet wet, battling somebody else on the microphone, and then move back into Sasha for SummerSlam. As far as Liv is concerned, I feel like Liv has to get her feet wet too. I don't have a problem with them giving people opportunities and letting them have an opportunity right out the gate. But I feel like Liv, despite the fact that she's great in the ring, she's improved, she looks good when she's out there. I need my challengers to have a lot more substance. They have to have more backing than just being a fan favorite. And I'm not saying that Liv isn't good enough. What I'm saying is she's got to have a little bit more time. Give her just a little bit more time. And I don't mean time in the back, sitting in the back, just sitting there waiting for somebody to give her opportunity. I mean time in developing and wrestling other people so that it comes across as Liv being a worthy opponent for Bianca. Do I think she's going to give Bianca some get back? Of course. I don't think Bianca's going to bowl over her easily, but I can't readily see Bianca possibly dropping the title to Liv Morgan. And I don't think that they should have Bianca and Sasha fighting it out on Money in the Bank when you can have that big ass match at SummerSlam. Sometimes people just don't think. And Sasha Banks is not always the answer to everything. Neither is Liv. You can't keep asking for fresh and new things and then always asking for the same people. That doesn't compute. Sasha Banks is already a household name. She's one of the biggest stars on the roster. And quite frankly, she's not in desperate need to be the one on TV wrestling and breaking her back out every 2 seconds. She doesn't have to do that anymore if she doesn't want to. And I think that it is best for her to be putting over talent the same way that Bayley has been putting over talent and the same way that I'm very sure Becky would put over talent. That's just what she should be doing, as does Edge and the rest of the veterans on the roster. That's what they're supposed to do. Someone did it for them, so they got to do it for somebody else. Let me go back to some of these comments so I can put you guys' stuff up here. They might as well give the company back the WWE Women Tag Team Championships. I don't understand why you're saying that. I'm very confused about that. I would like to see Shinsuke versus Roman. Ooh, I never thought about that. Shinsuke is kind of at the point, it seems like, where he's like, I don't really care. It comes across that way to me. He comes across like he's just coasting and living his best life. Now, he may not be happy with some of his booking. He may want, better booking in some spots. But I think Shinsuke and Asuka have been wrestling their entire lives, and they're at the point now where they're just ready to enjoy the fruits of their labor. And I ain't mad at them for that. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they do ever decide to do a Shinsuke versus Roman matchup, I wouldn't be mad at that either. That ain't bad. You all right, Icy. You all right. People were saying that Roman versus Edge was a dream match, and then they get it. And they're crying like babies. Child, I can't even begin to explain the stupidity that is the wrestling fandom. I can't explain that. With Mandy being on NXT, which I don't understand, I think they're going to give those tag titles to Tegan and Shotzi. If you've already discussed that, I'm sorry. I was late to the lot. No, it's okay. Mandy being in NXT could mean a lot of things. I'm not quite sure what that means, but I know NXT never does anything without it meaning something. And as far as I'm concerned, that's very, they really just, if they decided to split up Mandy and Dana, fine. I don't have a problem with that, but it's a very weird way to do it. The last thing I remember seeing, Dana was getting pushed by Tamina, and Tamina pretty much walked away, and Dana and Mandy were standing there still together. I thought if they were going to do this, that they should have at least let them turn on each other and fight it out, and that could have been the end of it. But I don't know, man. I don't know, but I'm kind of intrigued by it because I find it to be very interesting. We asked for something new. They gave us something new. So now I want to see where this is going to go. Me and my mom was thinking about that, going to the show in MSG instead of possibly feigning in Las Vegas for SummerSlam. It's going to be hot in Las Vegas for sure. They definitely teased me when they showed Sasha and said they will be back on the road. I thought Sasha was going to show up and face Bianca for the title, not Carmella. I don't understand why y'all think that. Just because they advertise a person for going back on the road doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be on every aspect of that road tour. I think Sasha will be back for the first part. More than likely Friday, Sasha will be there. Okay. But I don't understand why you would wait. Why would you have her come back and have her compete at Money in the Bank when you can have her compete at one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year in SummerSlam? SummerSlam is the second biggest pay-per-view next to fucking WrestleMania. I would not waste a WrestleMania caliber match on Money in the Bank when I could get all of these eyes and definitely double the money for SummerSlam. Okay? I'm not, it's no shade, but no, I'm not doing that. Agreed. And I don't think Liv winning the Money in the Bank would help either. I don't think she's championship material as of yet. Like you said, she needs more time. Well, Sasha will be back soon, just not in that position at this time. Like they did Naomi. Naomi retained the championship, but lost it at SummerSlam. I don't see anyone taking the title from Bianca until SummerSlam. Shinsuke is in the position where you're happy for him if he does get a title, but if he doesn't, it wouldn't really matter. Well, Naomi shouldn't have dropped her title to Natalya. That I have to agree with. As long as he's on TV. Fans ask for new things, get it, and complain. So stop asking for new things and then complaining. They will do that when Liv wins Money in the Bank. They will complain about it later and turn on her. I don't care for Liv winning, so it won't affect me. Or maybe they put Mandy in a position where she's working both shows. Who knows? We'll just have to see how it plays out. And that's the attitude I have. I don't necessarily think that they broke up Mandy and Dana. But if they did, it's fine, you know. And I don't know what that meant. Like maybe she was scouting, like I said before. Maybe she was scouting Gigi Dolan, or maybe she was sizing up Sarai. I don't know. It's a very interesting thing. But like I said, NXT never just does something on a whim and you don't really understand. It's like always a little breadcrumb that NXT drops. That breadcrumb means something. It's all strategy with them. They're not like WWE where they just abandon a storyline completely, 100%. They don't do that. They wrap it up or they let it go forward. I agree. I agree, Tirza. I don't think she's championship material. Literally, everyone wants her to win. I just don't see her championship reign being interesting and that great. Exactly like you said, Sasha isn't the solution to everything. Who do you think Bobby is facing at SummerSlam? I think Bobby Lashley probably will go up against Brock Lesnar. If it's not Brock Lesnar, it's going to be somebody else. Somebody who is surprising. And I'm not quite sure of who it could be. But it could be any number of people. Where the fuck is Finn Balor? Finn Balor is probably at home chilling, which for me, I would be too. Like, Balor worked throughout the entire pandemic, and he was a big proponent as to why the pandemic was great for NXT in terms of matches and the quality of matches. He was a good champion in NXT. A bit boring, but he was a good champion in NXT nonetheless. I think Balor will also be somewhat of a surprise in the next coming months, which I would welcome that because I actually really love Finn Balor. But we'll just have to wait and see where Balor is. That bump that Gargano took on the table was nasty. It was. Gargano's one where he'll do a bump anywhere, anything. Like he's a strange bird. Brock or Goldberg is who I think Bobby will face. Who said anything about Goldberg? Where did you get Goldberg from? Like, I don't understand where Goldberg came from at all. I don't understand why Goldberg would even be in the conversation, let alone be someone that he's gonna go up against. Did you see Brock's new hair? I did see his new hair. We're gonna move on because it's not good. That was the first thing I saw when I opened Twitter. It's like him and Otis switched looks. That looked like a complete botch, though. You talking about that bump on the table? It might have been. Their match was a little botchy. That when he was trying to suplex Cross off of the turnbuckle in the match, Cross stepped down and he could have very well like tore his ACL or like he could have torn something or tweaked his knee or something in that match because of the way he stepped down and then fell back. He kind of buckled. His feet kind of buckled underneath him. Cross, that was a bad move. Even though he was trying to protect Gargano, he most definitely could have injured himself, which thank God he didn't, because Cross going down for a second time in his title reign would not spell well for his main roster possibilities or the continuation of his title reign in NXT. So I'm glad that he didn't get injured, but he's got to perfect that. He's got to get cleaner in the matches, especially with smaller guys. He has to get cleaner. Oh, hell no. I hope not Goldberg. It's not Goldberg. Nobody wants to see Goldberg old ass. I've seen Goldberg's name thrown around on the dirt sheets too, but I recall Goldberg's contract is one of the contracts that they let go. I don't remember Goldberg being on the dirt sheets as one of the people Lashley could go up against. And quite frankly, if they're moving forward and if this is Nick Khan's plan to move forward, I don't think that Goldberg is going to be one of the guys that Bobby Lashley could potentially go up against at SummerSlam. Let me put it this way. I hope he isn't, because that is a huge step backwards and not a step forwards. And it most likely guarantees Bobby Lashley is going to win at SummerSlam, because there's no way in hell that I would put the title back on Goldberg. No, absolutely not. I would not do that. What do you think is next for Candice and Indy? At some point, the way has to be busted up in order for Austin to succeed, if Austin Theory is going to succeed on his own, and Indy Hartwell to succeed. But for right now, I think they should keep them together. I do think that Indy should go forward with Dexter Lumis, but I really would, if I had it my way, I would let Dexter be the one to go after the North American title once Swerve drops it. Because I don't think Swerve is going to keep that title long either. I think Swerve is probably going to be pushed for main title contingency sooner rather than later. Me personally, I also think that AJ Francis and Adonis are going to be tag team champions at some point. And as far as BFAB is concerned, I need her to wrestle immediately. She has not wrestled not once. And I know that the girl can wrestle. I talked about her earlier. If you're not going to wrestle, then I'm going to need for you to shine somewhere else. Like you're going to have to, you got to get it together, sis, because I don't know where you be going or what you be wearing, but like even the Instagram girls who wear them cheap ass Fashion Nova clothes be doing it better than this. And I just don't, girl, if you came out there in like Mandy Rose's, like she be wearing some really cute jumpers and some really cute sweatsuits, right? If you came out dressed like that, and you put on some fly ass, Jordans, get you some ones, some real exclusive shit. Talk to Kofi. Get you some really exclusive shit. You know what I'm saying? If you was able to do that, like, I'm just saying, because you tearing me up right now. You tearing me up, and I want to root for you because you a sister. I got to, because if I don't, then people won't see black women on TV as it is. You know what I'm saying? I just want you to be better and do better. You know what I'm saying? Agreed, but he likes to come randomly, especially the pay-per-views where he isn't wanted. Yeah, but I don't really want to see that. I'd rather see Brock Lesnar than to see fucking Goldberg, honestly. I wouldn't cheer for neither one of them, but I wouldn't be as mad. I'd still be pissed, but I wouldn't be as mad that Brock Lesnar was there because I expect him to be there. You feel what I'm saying? I think Cross meant to drop him on top of the table, but didn't get all of it, and he dropped him on the hardest part of the table, which is scary. I hope it was just an accident. Like, I don't think he meant it, that's even worse. That Cross got to get cleaner. That's all. He's got to cleaner. I think Bobby will squash Kofi like Brock did, and that will tie into Brock versus Bobby. Why does he have to squash Kofi in order for that to tie into Brock versus Bobby? He doesn't have to do that. It's already written in the cards that Bobby Lashley wants to go up against Brock Lesnar. There's no need to put Kofi in the ground like that in order for you to be able to go up against Brock Lesnar. That's bullshit. And if they do that, I'm going to be highly pissed off. Dead ass. Well, I don't want to see Brock's old non-wrestling ass either. None of us do, but that's probably where it's going to go, love. I hate to say it, but that's probably where it's going to go, love. I don't know what it is, but sis just don't do it for me. I don't know if it's her boots or what, but I think she's overacting in some areas, and it just don't seem like that's her. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Let me see. She said, wait. I wear them cheap ass Fashion Nova clothes too. I'm just saying. But they look better than Brianna clothes. But you know damn well they cheap. You know they cheap. Pretty Little Things, Boohoo. What's the other one? Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Things, Boohoo, Shein. All of them is paper thin cheap. And you know it. I think Mandy was there for decoration and ratings. What ratings was Mandy Rose going to give NXT that they cannot garner on their own? It's more than just ratings. I definitely doubt that it was a ratings grab because Mandy Rose ain't no damn ratings person. If she was, she would be doing better on the main roster. When she show up, the ratings will go up on the main roster. Do you think Cole, Gargano, and Ciampa will ever move to the main roster or stay diehard NXT? Ciampa will never move up to the main roster. Ciampa is, that's why they call him Old Man Ciampa. Ciampa has a neck injury, and although he has rehabbed it and he's able to wrestle, he knows that he will not be able to keep up with the rigorous schedule that WWE has for their superstars. So with that in mind, Ciampa has made it a mission that he will stay in NXT as long as he possibly can. And if he has to retire, he most definitely will retire. Okay, so that's fine. Ciampa's not going to move up, and I'm okay with Ciampa not moving up. I'm a little saddened by it because Ciampa would be an awesome adversary for anybody on the roster right now. Okay, but I would rather him be around for his wife and his children than to try to go up to the main roster and then end up getting hurt and getting paralyzed or something along those lines, just trying to compete on the main roster. I think he's very smart in understanding what he's capable of and what he can do. And with them staying in NXT and them being stationary and not moving, that is a better fit for Ciampa at this moment. When it comes to Adam Cole, I think they are chomping at the bit to get Adam Cole to the main roster. And when they do, all hell is going to break loose wherever he goes. He is the star. No matter what you say or what you do, Adam Cole is going to be your guy. And if he goes where Seth Rollins goes, that is going to be one of the best feuds you've seen in the last, 10 years? Seth Rollins versus Cole is a dream feud that everybody is waiting to see. Cole most definitely will be the breakout star of that set if he goes to the main roster. Gargano is like the NXT hometown boy. Let me explain it this way. You remember that guy, or if your dad has a friend and your dad's friend or your mom has a friend, and all they talk about is back in my day, I was one of the greatest football players of all time. If I hadn't blown out my knee, I'd be in the NFL right now. Gargano's one of those guys, okay? Gargano's never going to leave NXT because he doesn't think being on the main roster is for him. He wants to stay in NXT where he can continue to keep reliving the glory days of being the NXT Johnny Takeover. And that's what he's going to do until he's forced out. Okay? Now, do I think they need Gargano in NXT? No, not necessarily. They know how to build the stars up and they have a decent system. Okay? Gargano is not necessary. He can be used, but he's not necessary. As far as anybody else, you only mentioned 3. So those are the 3 guys you mentioned, and I hope I covered everybody for you. Do you see Raquel dropping the title to Xia? I can see Raquel losing her title to Xia Li. I can see Raquel losing her title to Xia Li because of Dakota Kai as well. There are a lot of scenarios that could play out with this. But I told y'all that Xia was going to be the next girl. I told y'all this. Xia Li with Tian Sha and the whole thing is too big to waste in just them fighting against Casey and Kaden. No. She needs to be competing for that title. And if I were Triple H, I would give it to Xia. Xia is going to lead you into that era of having the most fun with the women's division. You can have really good feuds and rivalries with Xia Li, and you can have a dream setup with Xia Li and Io Shirai. She might not win it back, but you can have a damn good title bout for that. Zoe Starks is there. You're bringing in Gigi Dolan. You've got Frankie Monet there. She's setting up her faction. You've got Ming, what's her name? Mei Ying with Xia Li, and of course Boa. Once Mercedes is cleared, she's still there. You can revive that. It's a whole world opens up when it comes to Xia Li and her possibly being champion. With Raquel, you are stifled and she doesn't rise to the occasion. I would make her drop that title and move her ass over to Raw or SmackDown. And if Dakota can't fall in line, I would move her ass over too, because it's just not worth it. All right. Brock Lesnar used to be a good wrestler. I don't take that from Brock Lesnar. I believe that. I will give Brock Lesnar that. I'm just tired of him always getting the stick. Just like y'all sick of seeing Charlotte always getting everything. For the last 5 years, mostly, he's the one who's been holding the title. He was the one who was Universal Champion for quite some time. And I'm over it. Brock Lesnar isn't the end-all, be-all of wrestling. And now that he's gone, a huge vacuum has started. And they act like they don't know what they're doing when he's not there. It's so weird. So I'm getting some of y'all questions and comments late. So let me get some of these. She said, referring to the Fashion Nova comment, Tisha said, they cheap as fuck, but I love it. And coincidentally enough, I ordered clothes from Pretty Little Things, Shein, and Fashion Nova last week. That's what I'm talking about. Ciampa is wrestling on borrowed time, which is frightening to me. I say a little prayer while watching his matches, because he's very reckless. He can be very wild. You know what I'm saying? Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins is money, and I cannot wait until it happens. It most definitely is. It's going to be one of the greatest feuds of our era. Facts. 100%. My dad was that guy. Oh, and sometimes it gets annoying when they keep saying that. Do you see Gigi Dolan getting more TV time? I do. I think Gigi Dolan can be someone of substance in NXT. I think she would work better as a heel, attacking people from behind, being really sneaky and snarky. I think that would work out in Gigi Dolan's favor a lot. She looks like she would fit that mold much better. And that's how I would book her. Exactly, you're right. Adam Cole versus Seth happened on Raw. It was a good match, but their feud would be even better. What about AJ versus Cole? I never said that Seth Rollins and Adam Cole have never fought. I said that Seth Rollins and Adam Cole's feud will be one of the greatest feuds in WWE history. It'll be one of the greatest feuds of our era. That's what I said. As far as AJ Styles and Adam Cole goes, I don't really care. AJ Styles is a great wrestler, and I'm fine with AJ Styles, but he does not. I don't feel like AJ Styles and Adam Cole would be the one that would set people off and be like, we got to go watch this. Do I think Adam Cole would rise to the occasion when it comes to AJ Styles? Of course. Do I think AJ Styles would rise to the occasion? 100%. I think they both are amazing wrestlers. But if you're asking me, who would I put in a match, bar for bar, match for match, move for move? It's going to be Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole. That's where your money is. AJ Styles is also on his way out. I'm not saying that he's not good enough, but there's no need to do it. I'm not in desperate need to see that. I don't really care what AJ Styles is going to do or say when it comes to Adam Cole, because I would root for Adam Cole either way. Adam Cole is your guy. AJ Styles is on his way out, and it's just that simple. I'm ready to see Carmelo. Well, he'd probably be wrestling next week. And you could always go back on the network and watch, on the Peacock network, and watch his matches. He had a match with Kushida a few weeks ago, and he had a match with Adam Cole a couple weeks ago. So you can go watch that. I'm ready for Zaya to put a dent in Raquel's Stone chin. Oh, wow. That's very specific. It's very specific. As far as Raquel is concerned, I'm just not a fan of what she got going on. I don't find it interesting or entertaining. That's no disrespect to her. I'm sure that she is an amazing person, for whatever reasons, and I'm sure her and Braun Strowman are happy as home, happy as house. But my thing is, when you step your ass out there in the WWE universe, be it NXT, Raw, or SmackDown, you need to show up and show out every single time. When you don't, I lose interest in you. I don't want to watch her come out there flexing her back muscles every 2 seconds and just cheesing and smiling because she's champion and Dakota's on her right-hand side. Like, I don't care about any of that. You give nothing when it comes to your matches. And I don't care how much Spanish you speak. I don't care how many times you tell everybody you're bigger than them and you're going to squash them. You're boring, and it's time for them to move on to someone else. Period. Straight like that, no chaser. Tears said, my mother loves AJ Styles. That bitch watched Impact for 2 reasons. One was for Sting, and the other was for AJ Styles. That was when AJ Styles was in his prime and wrestling all over the world. AJ Styles was one of the most recognizable superstars in the world to date. And that is no shade to AJ Styles. But I honestly, I'll do a poll. Okay, let's do a poll. Since, I just want to get a consensus of all the people who are watching. Y'all let me know. Put 1 in the comments for Seth Rollins and 2 in the comments for AJ Styles. Which match would you rather see Adam Cole have? A match with Seth Rollins, you put number 1, or a match with with AJ Styles, you put number 2. I'm going to take another quick break and I'll be back and we'll figure out what happened in the poll in the comments. All right? I'll let y'all decide.
Genetics.
Drink. Headshot. Drink. Sit down. Drink. Stand up. Drink. Pass out. Drink. Wake up. Drink. Bed it. Drink. Bed it. Drink. Drink. Headshot. Drink. Sit down. Drink. Stand up. Drink. Pass out. Drink. Wake up. Drink. Bed it. Drink. Bed it. Drink.
Genetics.
Drink. Headshot. Drink. Sit down. Drink. Stand up. Drink. Pass out. Drink. Wake up. Drink. Bed it. Drink. Bed it. Drink. Drink. Headshot. Drink. Sit down. Drink. Stand up. Drink. Pass out. Drink. Wake up. Drink. Bed it. Drink. Bed it. Drink.
Genetics.
All right, so we took a quick break and we're going to do this poll. So let's see what some of y'all said in the comments. All right, one. Icy said he want both of them. Give him both of them. Caesar said Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole would be like Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart of this generation. Their feud happened when I was a kid, and their matches are what almost every wrestler references. She's right. 1. Oh, Tom says he wants to see AJ Styles against Adam Cole. 1. I already saw AJ versus Cole. Really? I'm assuming it was on an indie or in like Impact or something, or Ring of Honor. Raquel is giving me very much boring, and her friend Kicks. Jay also picked 1. You can only pick 1. Hiram is a mess. This commercial got me turning into a transformer. Oh, Lord have mercy. 1. So the overall consensus is most people want to see Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins. We got Tom who wants to see AJ Styles versus Seth versus Adam Cole, and of course Icy wants to see AJ versus Adam Cole, which is fine. I have no issues with that. But me personally, I want to see Adam Cole versus Seth Rollins for the story and the feud that it can be and where it can become and how it can catapult Adam Cole to be the next guy. And of course, to take Seth Rollins into a position of being the guy to put people over, which he's done before. But these two guys going up against each other just seems like a dream match to me. And I can already see how this match is going to play out, where it could possibly go. Is it going to be a 3-match feud? I just hope it ends in a 3 stages of hell match, which is one of my favorite match stipulations. It was Ring of Honor. I figured as much. Alrighty. So, do y'all got anything else that y'all want to talk about today? Anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to be outski. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to leave you to it, as they say. Hold on a second. All right. Will I go live on Friday? I'm thinking about it because it's a live show Friday, so I might go live Friday. I want to see both. AJ Styles is an impeccable wrestler, and I know he put Adam over. Seth Rollins is also phenomenal. See what I did there? So that could go either way. Yes. I still want to see Seth versus Adam Cole. I don't want to see AJ Styles versus Adam Cole. That's just me. You're about to get jumped by a group of girls. Which superstars you bringing along? Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. First of all, I know Shayna can take out at least half of them hoes. And Nia, shit. Nia can fight. I feel like Nia Jax can fight. She might cry a little bit, but she can fight. Still available for free on YouTube. Oh, is it? That's interesting. Will I be live on Friday? I'm going to try to go live Friday. This is going to be the first show back with the crowd, and I know everybody's going to be hyped to talk about it. So more than likely, yes, I will be live on Friday. I will bring Bianca and Shayna. As much as I love Bianca, I probably would use Bianca as like a backup girl. But I'm gonna stick with my two picks. I feel like that's a safe bet for me. All right. Word. Shayna will kick your ass for real, period. Miko's first title defense is against Amal. The hair can come in handy. Okay, so there are a couple things on NXT UK that I do want to talk about, and then I'll be out of here. So Miko is having her first title defense against Amal on Thursday. You're also gonna get Walter versus Ilya Dragunov Part 2. This match is going to be brutal as hell. I'm watching that match when it happens, but they're supposed to have a standoff of some sorts this Thursday, and there's a Heritage Cup match that's going to happen this Thursday as well. So if you haven't been watching NXT UK, I highly recommend it. If it ain't just for the women's match and for that standoff between Walter and Dragunov, like, please watch that, because I'm telling you, when you watch the actual match, you're going to be like, what the fuck? They are going to beat the holy hell out of each other, and I'm living for it. So make sure you guys watch NXT UK. I hope you guys enjoyed the live today. I didn't let anybody in because I wanted to get everything out and get it done. So I promise you guys, Friday, I will let people in and we can talk and just chill like we always do. And I will see you guys next time. All right? Have a nice night. Get some sleep. And I might come back Thursday and chill with y'all Thursday, and we can just talk about random shit, random topics, do a little freestyle Thursday. How's that? Give you a little something. Other than that, I will see you guys later. All right? Have a nice night. I'm finna go to bed.